And welcome to Around the Ozarks Spotlight. Each week we uncover the stories behind the people who live and work in Southwest Missouri. Those individuals with entrepreneurial spirit, those who work to develop the lives of others, or simply put pen to paper to write books about the stories and history of the Ozarks and its people. I'm Scott Meier. Today we're exploring the world of raising money because that's quite frankly what this young lady has to do. She's the VP of Development at the YMCA of the Ozarks, Danielle Wise. Danielle, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I know I simplified it awfully by saying raise money, but typically when people are development directors, that's the job, yes?
Right. Yes, that's the main bread and butter of our job for sure.
Well, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, I know there's a lot of things happening at the YMCA, and we'll get to that. But not unlike Ronald McDonald House, I think sometimes people feel that the Y is one of those places that gets a lot of money from national and not necessarily the case, correct?
That's not, yes, that is not correct at all. We actually pay in to be an affiliate of the National YMCA. So we do have a portion that we do pay to nationals. So we have opportunities for grant funding as well as, different external marketing endeavors that we receive because of that. But we do not receive funds to operate.
So they don't send you checks every week and just say, "Hey, your job is really simple."
No, not at all. I wish.
Well, I think that's a misnomer. I think sometimes people feel that it's not fair to say companies. This isn't a company, but a 501c3 like the YMCA, which has a national footprint, typically finds money elsewhere, and that's not the case. I would think the YMCA of the Ozarks is exactly that, and this money stays home.
Yes, it definitely stays local. So just a background, the Ozarks Regional YMCA encompasses 6 locations in the Ozarks, as well as our full-time camp Wakanda in Ash Grove. So we have locations. Pat Jones is our largest here in Springfield off of Republic Road. And then we have our Monette YMCA, Cassville. We have our Hollister branch as well. And then our Dallas County and Lebanon locations, and then Camp Wakanda. And then on top of that, we provide school age services. So we are actually the largest contract that Springfield Public Schools has for before and after school care for kids. So I think that's something that just isn't well known that the Y does. We provide very, very good quality childcare in the community, and really the Y is known for that around the world. So we provide childcare to over 40 school sites in the Ozarks, 31 of them being in Springfield Public Schools. So we have a small school district. Really, we serve over 1,500 here in Springfield alone.
Danielle, how does that work? So they're not on campus at the Ys. The YMCA actually comes to them?
Yes, so it's a really good opportunity for us to have low overhead because we get to use the school's facilities, and a lot of the time schools will use their teachers outside of the school day to provide that after school care. Well, that has led to a lot of burnout for our teachers who already have a very tough job. So why not contract with an entity that already is well trained and equipped to provide this care? So we come in, we use their facilities, and then they pay us a rate. A lot of the time school districts will have what's called a Century 21 grant. So they receive that funding from the federal government to enable them to cover the cost of childcare for parents. And right now we're in our final year of some COVID funds that will be drying up for the state of Missouri. And so a lot of parents haven't been having to pay before and after school care. It's just been free to them and a really great resource. So that's kind of where I step in as well, because that funding is not going to be available forever. And I go out and I build connections and raise money so that we can continue those scholarships for those students whose parents really couldn't afford. They can't afford to not have after school care because they have to work till 6. And then also they just can't afford that cost. So we cover that by many scholarships within the community.
Danielle, how does that work? Do you look to individuals for funding, or do you look strictly corporately, or do you mix it both?
We mix it. We don't say no to any funding, but
Hmm.
really we just try to tell the story wherever we can. And I think a lot of the time people just think that unfortunately the Y is a gym and swim, and that's all we do. You
Hmm.
hear that often, but we just want to shed a light on all that we provide, especially the childcare sector, because it's such a necessity for us, and we're around the country, we're in a childcare crisis. And so we're actually looking to expand that opportunity to grow into preschool settings so that we can maybe partner with a manufacturing company or a tech company and go in, and we use their facilities, but we provide the care and the preschool for those employees. So that's a benefit to employees. That's helping our economy, and making sure that children are growing and thriving in the right ways. So it's really cool that we provide that, and we're kind of, the Y is there for you for life. So
I'd not heard gym and swim before. That kind of that kind of says what I think a lot of people do interpret the YMCA to stand for. It really does cover all age groups.
yes, it does. I mean, our oldest member at Pat Jones is 93 years old and goes at least 3 times a week. So we really do encompass that whole range of ages.
Wow, that's amazing. When you talk about the other areas where you've got all six of the Ys that you have responsibility for, not including the camping campus, uh, are they all fully staffed full time?
Yes, there are full-time staff. So our larger Ys have, of course, more staff. So I right now with full and part-time at our Pat Jones Y, we have close to 120 staff. And then our smaller branches like Dallas County are around 20 to 25 staff with part-time. I don't know the numbers of full-time for each branch off the top of my head though.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm guessing, are you part of as a development director, are you also part of the budgeting process?
Yes, yes. So we have our structure is the association oversees all of those branches and the camp, and then so we have a CEO, and then our 4 vice presidents who help with facilities and operations, our finance, our CEO, or I mean CFO, and then we have our vice president of youth development who handles all that child care, licensing, and all the things that are needed to make sure that we're in compliance. So the 4 of us really work closely with the board of directors at the association level for budgeting purposes. And then I'm very active on our branch boards as well to make sure that they're well connected in the community, helping to raise funds too. So we have a lot of boards, advisory and governing. So
Mhm.
it's a lot, but it's been really fun.
You're listening to my guest today at Around the Ozarks Spotlight. That's Danielle Wise. Danielle, is it fair to say the newest director of development? It's been a while that you've been there.
I've been there 5 months, or been here 5 months, so not super long. So yes, I'm the vice president of development, and we have I have a team under me as well, and I also oversee marketing within the organization.
So you've got your hands full.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's a lot to learn too. I've been in development my whole career, but the Y is just a different beast, in a great way. I'm personally very passionate about health and wellness, and so this just really aligns with my values, as well as all that it does for the community is amazing.
When we take a step back for a minute about the development funds, when you look at an area like Springfield proper, where there's, I think, over 3,300 individual folks that are looking for funding, different 501(c)(3)s and any number of different areas that need help, uh, you typically are competing with a lot of other folks out there. Isn't that fair?
Yes, absolutely. It is very competitive, and I think finding a new way to approach donors is extremely important. Right now, there's a lot of donor fatigue, in our community. We live in a very giving community, which is amazing, but there's also a lot of needs. So I think really nonprofits are doing better at this, but we're collaborating more, and we're not asking for the same funding for the same kind of programming. Instead, we're coming together and we're making that programming last and be sustainable. And that's what donors and funders are looking for more than ever.
Now, you just came from another area. Where were you before this?
I was at Foster Adopt Connect. So yeah, I was the development director there for almost 2 years, and it's very, very different as far as the fundraising elements. We were fundraising for more events. We were more event heavy, and then here we're more major gift and community driven. So less events, more about sustainability and making those funds last a long time.
Is it fair to say you're a bit of a glutton for punishment? I mean, well, developmental work is work. It's like, you have a board of directors, you work with the board of directors, and I'm sure your board is like many boards, it's their job to also assist with fundraising. That's one of the reasons you have a board, and you try to find people that have the ability to help you with that respect. But are there restrictions placed on you of who you can and can't go to, since there is a certain pool of folks that are big time contributors, or is it fair game across the board?
As far as I'm concerned, it's fair game to build relationships and then just see where those take you. So I don't think it's ever wrong to tell someone about what you have going on in your organization, and then see what they decide from there. It's always their decision whether or not to support you. And I think stewardship and building a solid relationship with funders is extremely important, and sometimes lost in the shuffle of all the nonprofits that we do have in our community. Sometimes we're asking because we're just constantly trying to find the next dollar, and we're not taking the time to first get to know the donor and what drives them, and second, keep that relationship going. So once we get that check, how are we going to continue that relationship and make sure they know that their dollars are being used in the ways that they were wanting to support?
If you had the 30-second elevator pitch, what would that sound like?
Oh goodness, you're putting me on the spot. I would say, the Ozarks Regional YMCA is for all. We are here for your body, mind, and spirit, for all ages. We encompass all parts of health and wellness, and it touches everyone. So giving a gift to the Y is would have a lasting impact for our community, because you're touching kids who need after school care or have never been to camp before, to senior citizens who are unable to get out of their house and they just need a resource and a place to go. So we're touching all facets of life. Those kids who are impacted by youth sports, who probably would never have been able to play without your dollars. So it really does have a trickle effect on people's lives, and we see that daily. And we'd love for you to show some support to those individuals.
We're going to be back in a moment, and we're going to find out more about what the future plans are here in Springfield on Around the Ozarks Spotlight with my guest, Danielle Wise, who's the Vice President of Development with the Ozark Area YMCA. I'm your host, Scott Meier. We'll be back right after these messages.
Hey, everybody. It's Ethan and Sarah Forhetz from your favorite podcast, Around the Ozarks in 5. I'm sure you've been wondering, how can I get even more amazing stories, events, and witty banter to start my day?
Well, look no further. Here we are. Sign up for our daily newsletter. You'll have what's going on around the Ozarks right at your fingertips each weekday morning.
Yeah, just go to aroundtheozarks.com, click on the newsletter tab to sign up.
Thanks for listening to Around the Ozarks in 5. We hope to see you in your inbox soon.
Welcome back to the second half of today's Around the Ozarks Spotlight. My name's Scott Meier, and I'm here with Vice President of Development, Danielle Wise of am I getting it right, the Ozarks Chamber? Tell it to me the way it's supposed to be said. It's the
Ozarks Regional YMCA.
Ozarks Regional YMCA, which I think some people sometimes confuse with the one on Republic Road and think there aren't any others.
Right.
And you said the campus far exceeds that.
Yes, it does. Our association oversees all locations that we have in the Ozarks. So, like I mentioned, we have Pat Jones on Republic Road, where everyone thinks of. We have a Monette, a Cassville, a Buffalo, and then a Lebanon, as well as Hollister. And then our Camp Wakanda is in Ash Grove.
Now, do you have any help? Or do you have to do this all by yourself?
I have a wonderful staff member in development, and then I have two individuals who run our marketing department as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about the Y and the structure of the Y around our country is we have what's called an annual campaign, and that's really where we raise our dollars for the organization as a whole. So every executive director of our branch is required in their job description to fundraise. So right now we're in the end of our annual campaign that will wrap up May 31st. So our executive director at Pat Jones has a goal of $50,000 to raise for his branch. And so he's responsible for asking his advisory board, going out in the community, as well as asking his members to support and give back. So I'm kind of that cheerleader for them. I'm there to help support and maybe build that relationship with someone they don't know in the community, but they're driven to kind of raise that money based on their job description. So it also is awesome to see them grow in that role, because they may be really good at the program part of running a Y, but fundraising may be not their favorite thing. And so if we just work together, they realize that it's really about relationships, and you're already a relational person if you're in that position. So it's been really cool. So I would say I have seven people under that kind of fall into, I advise them and help them as well.
So there is help. So we're sitting here at the spring of the year in 2024, and I'm sure you've got an entire docket of things that are coming up. Anything specifically you want to talk to folks about that they can look forward to?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we have camp. I've mentioned that a few times, but we have two different kinds of summer camps. So if you're still looking for something for your children to do this summer, and school is going to be out very, very soon, I know starting on May 21st, schools will start getting out in the next few days after that. We have a day camp program that we run out of our school age services programs. So we are in 3 different locations. We go on field trips, we go swimming. They have tons of really educational activities that the kids do. It's from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, all through summer. So you can sign up for 1 week, or you can sign up for all the weeks. We have that availability, and that will be on orymca.org under our school age services programs. So that is a great opportunity, very affordable. We also have financial aid available for that. And then we have our Camp Wakanda, which is our, your classic day camp, overnight camp that we provide. So those are also in week sessions. You can sign up for 1 or more. There's scholarships available. And Camp Wakanda is not the same camp that people know from the past. We have really, really put some work into it and made it so beautiful. And it's still very nostalgic for those who grew up at Camp Wakanda, but we've put some spins on it and added a lot of new activities. And we're just really excited to show it off.
It's amazing. And that's an overnight camp, you say?
It is, yes, just in Ash Grove. So if you are leery about sending your kid too far away, it's close enough. You can get there and pick them up if they're having a rough week. But and we have wonderful counselors that are very well trained in helping kids cope through that, separation, or maybe they're just struggling because of the heat or whatever it is. They are trained in all areas, and they want to make your camp experience great, so that you want to come back and tell your friends.
Now, Danielle, someone in your position as a development director probably gets calls all the time. Come work for us. Come help us. We need your help. And maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I got to believe you do. But that aside, you picked or they picked you to be with the YMCA.
Yeah. Yes, I am very fortunate. I think it would, I think everything happens for a reason. And I was honestly looking to maybe make a change in career paths. I'd done development for 11 years now, and this opportunity actually came knocking at my door. And I thought, this merges passions personally of mine with
Sure.
something I already know that I can do well. So that kind of fueled me to move forward, and I'm so happy I did. It's been such a journey, and I'm still learning so much. Drinking out of a fire hose for sure.
After 5 months, yes. And
Yeah.
you've got a fairly new director there as well.
Yes,
right?
we have a new interim CEO that just started almost 3 weeks ago. So she is from the Gateway Region YMCA. So that is one of the largest in the country for the Y. She's been with the Ys for 31 years, 25 of them full time. So she comes with a wealth of knowledge. She has roots in Springfield. She started her Y career as our aquatics director at Pat Jones. So she really is coming back home to Springfield and, finishing out her Y career, looking to retire in the next few years. So we're just very, very fortunate to have her as our interim and kind of get our ship going in the best direction it possibly can for the Y and for our community as well. I think sometimes if you're not out and about and telling the story, it gets lost. Like we talked about, all of the nonprofits that are supported in our community, if you're not out there talking about them, it can be forgotten that they're important. So we're going to get out there and do that.
No, that's a great point, and that's one of the reasons we do this, is to give you a chance to dig a little deeper into the YMCA and what you do and the things that you provide just for the immediate marketplace, which is quite a few things, actually. I had no idea it was that involved. Now, you were talking about some daycare opportunities. Those are not filled. Yeah.
No, not all of the summer camp spots are taken yet. So we do still have availability there, and also in our overnight camp.
Because I would guess there's a lot of pressure on those.
Yes, there are. There's always a need in the summertime as well. So usually they fill up pretty quick after summer school ends at the end of June. So July fills up first, but we do have a few spots still available and you can register online at orymca.org.
Now, is the YMCA in the same position that a lot of local businesses are, trying to find younger people to be able to assist with some of these programs? Or are you fully
not fully staffed?
Fully employed? No, not fully staffed. No.
Unfortunately, a lot of the college students who work for us during the school year go back home during the summer. So we do have to hire quite a few counselors for the summer camps. But it is something that they're used to doing. And a lot of kids will, the high school kids, we can hire for certain positions as well. So that's helpful in the summer. But we have a great team we have a recruiter who just works for our school age services programs and make sure we have staffing. I mean, it's essential. We have to be at a certain ratio with our kids.
Sure.
Safety is always our top priority.
I would think the Y gives some pretty good training.
Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of support from YUSA with all of the training that we provide. Everyone's first aid, CPR certified. That is a requirement. And with our new CEO coming on board, she's going to be bringing a lot of training down from the Gateway region that has been done there for years that we just maybe hadn't started before. So we'll have a lot more opportunities for growth there.
Now, you weren't there during the pandemic, but did the pandemic change the Y at all from your perspective?
Yes, we became a needed resource in the community for families. We were a food distribution site. So we provided a lot of necessary resources. And unfortunately, I know the gyms closed down for a few months, especially, during the lockdown portion, but they found new ways to give back and to make sure they were involved in the community. So I know they were a pillar for all the struggles that our community went through.
Right. And thankfully, you didn't have to go through that there.
Yeah, yeah.
It had to be a tough deal.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I think everyone had their own struggles and they're different, especially if you were working in nonprofit work at that point. So, but yes, it's just been such a blessing to learn. And the history of the Y is so rich. We've been around since 1888 in Springfield. So I'm 135 years. That's tremendous. And all of the history of what we've done and how we've grown and evolved over time has just been really awesome to learn about and to also share about. People are just so connected from years and years back.
Danielle Wise is my guest today on Around the Ozarks Spotlight. Danielle is the VP of Development with the area YMCAs. Now, something we haven't spent much time on, and we quickly can before we run out of time, is you, Danielle. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that you're a former 40 under 40.
Yeah.
And hopefully still under 40, but
I am, yes. I have about, I guess, 4.5 years left. I'm going to ride that wave.
But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I think my son was actually a 30 under 30 up in Detroit. So I said, that's one thing to do it at that age, but it's another to do it at 40. So
yeah,
that's pretty good. Are you from the area?
I'm from Aurora, Missouri, so not far at all, 45 minutes.
Well, Aurora counts. I mean, that's...
Yes. So, yeah, I'm a hound dog at heart. And but I went to college here. I got my bachelor's and master's at Drury University, proud alumni from there. And since then, I've just been, like I said, in the nonprofit world, trying to figure things out and make a difference, at least a small impact.
Now, what did somebody major in at Drury to prepare you for this position?
I was a PR and communications major with a business and political science minor for some reason. I started out wanting to go to law school and quickly realized that wasn't for me. I probably don't have tough enough skin. So this kind of nonprofit work had always interested me. And then I got my master's in marketing and marketing communication. So the first opportunity that I had was at the Arc of the Ozarks, and I was there for 8 years, and I learned so much and grew so much over that time. So it was really just great to get my feet wet at an organization that does so much for the community.
Oh, Arc of the Ozarks is another one that I think not enough people know about.
Yes.
and are able to experience the wonderful work they do there.
Right. Yeah, they do tremendous work, and they're just growing so much.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean,
no, I think it's a great thing. They just opened their autism center and in Springfield back in January, and
Wow.
It's just a need that we have in our community. And I remember them talking about it when I was still there and planning for it. And I was at the ribbon cutting, and just to see how much hard work has gone into it was amazing.
It is amazing and wonderful work they do. And boy, some of those young men and women and older men and women that are involved in their programs is really something.
Yes.
In our last couple of minutes, let's tell the folks again, where can they get involved with you in your fundraising?
Okay. Yes. Please visit us at orymca.org. You can see all the things that we provide to the community as well. And then also, if you're looking for somewhere to get healthier, have an opportunity to connect with people and build solid relationships, it's a great place to start your journey back to health or continue your journey. One thing I love is you walk into any Y and you immediately feel welcomed. So I think that's just it's an affordable opportunity for families as well. You can get your kids involved in all sorts of sports. We have all like football, baseball. We have all sorts of aquatic programs. If you need your kid to learn to swim, we have that available lessons all the time. So just so many cool things. Pickleball, that's a huge thing right now. And we're working on some really cool plans for pickleball as well. So, and then if you just want to help give back to our community, we would love your support. We have a great spot on our website about our impact and how we've impacted our community for so many years. So,
Great.
and we're gonna be sharing all of those things and our rich history over the next few months. You're gonna see a lot about the Y, and we're really excited.
I want to thank my guest today on Around the Ozarks Spotlight, Danielle Wise. Thanks, Danielle. And all of you for listening in today. Also, my producers, Taylor Worley and Jay Stevens, and all of you for just being part of the whole team here. If you happen to miss all or part of today's conversation, you can always find it on ATO Spotlight at aroundtheozarks.com or the ATO app found in either the Apple App Store or Android apps. There you'll find today's program, as well as all of the past year's programs this year. I'm Scott Meier. Remember, every day is a gift. It's the best present you could ever receive. Have a great day.